Cable Bahamas has always been considered the innovator.
People can have confidence in Cable Bahamas as a mobile operator because of our past history. We've proven to the Bahamian community that we are in fact able to manage additional services as a telecommunications company.
Customers expect the best from Cable Bahamas.
The technology that we bring is revolutionary technology because we know that the Bahamian public, they deserve it, and Cable Bahamas is here to bring it to them.
We are ready. Turn us on.
Good evening, Bahamas. You're tuned into MB12 Weekend, broadcasting from Cable 12 Studios on Robinson Road. Coming up tonight in news, the FNM again calling for action on the Rubis spill controversy. The opposition also questioning the Attorney General's ability to take action in the V. Alfred Gray matter. Plus, the Chamber of Commerce says Bahamas CEO wasn't so far faced with his sharp criticism of the government. I'm Paige McCartney. We've got those stories and more straight ahead on MB12 Weekend. Welcome once again to MB12. Free National Movement leader Dr. Hubert Minnis is questioning why the nation's leader has remained silent while Marathon residents live through what he called one of the worst health crises in recent times. Marathon MP Jerome Fitzgerald and Minister of the Environment Kenred Dorset have both said that they are satisfied with government's response to the Rubis issue. But at a press conference at FNM headquarters this afternoon, Minnis said there has been a lack of concern from the leaders of the country on this matter.
Why has the Minister of Health been silent and the Prime Minister absent during this health crisis? While cabinet ministers duck and dodge and play the blame game, the Prime Minister, who claims to be a champion for the environment outside of the country, has remained silent when disaster hits his own people.
In an effort to help the residents of Marathon, the FNM plans to reach out to labs and physicians over the next week to conduct testing on residents at a reduced rate. But the party is demanding that government take responsibility by creating a multi-ministry task force to coordinate a proper response, fulfill every recommendation made in the Rubis report, immediately begin public health screenings for those who may have been impacted, and provide legal aid and free legal assistance to residents who wish to take legal action.
Well aware of what happened in the Gulf, the oil spill. What we see today is the Bahamas' oil spill. Similar situation. What happened in that situation? The American government took charge and ensured that there were proper litigation and cleanup. Should we not do the same? How can the minister make a statement that the individuals should hire a lawyer? That's the government's responsibility. That's the government's responsibility. But if I were to sit here and tell you all the effects that can possibly happen, believe me, I think this whole country would get up tomorrow and march to Parliament and
Minnis said government's management of this and other recent scandals is causing a meltdown within the Progressive Liberal Party.
I have been reliably informed that several cabinet ministers are upset over the leadership of the PLP. They are upset over the Gray matter, that Alfred Gray had not resigned and is sending a bad message throughout the international arena. They are upset over the referendum where the government ignored the people. And they are upset over the handling of the Rubis matter. As a result of that, several have written Perry Christie to resign. They want to resign. He has refused their resignation.
While Progressive Liberal Party Chairman Bradley Roberts held a press conference immediately following the FNM's media briefing, demanding an apology from party leader Dr. Hubert Minnis for using the Rubis matter as political leverage. Calling the Rubis leak unfortunate, Roberts said the FNM is seeking to use the pain and suffering of ordinary Bahamians for its sick and selfish political means.
As the current government continues to work with the affected residents and Rubis to bring a fair and just resolution to this matter, the hapless and opportunist, carpet-bagging and self-interest FNM have crawled from under a rock and behind the tall grass to see how they can best use the pain and suffering of Bahamians to secure a selfish and narrow political advantage. This is reprehensible, heartless, and callous.
Drawing reference to the Ministry of Environment's files, Roberts said the FNM is just as culpable because as far back as 1996, it was aware of the environmental issues at the very same site on Robinson Road.
This is reprehensible on the part of the FNM, and a full and frank explanation is needed. I suspect that the shameless arrogance of Dr. Minnis will prevent him from acting responsible. I call for a public hearing on this matter, with powers to send for people and papers as far back as 1996, and at around 2010, and again in 2012, to put the series of events in proper context so that the Bahamian people can fully appreciate the timelines, the extent of the challenges at this site, and for all to see exactly what the root causes were that brought us to this point.
Roberts said the government must remain focused and vigilant in executing its primary duty, which he said is protecting the public's interests and keeping the concerns of the people of Marathon front and center. Well, Speaker of the House of Assembly Dr. Kendall Major said on Friday that he will probe a legal opinion from the Office of the Attorney General that was delivered to him on Wednesday. The opinion, which has been widely reported, was not commissioned by Major or the Parliament and had no signature, according to the House Speaker. During a telephone interview on Star 106.5 FM's Jeffrey with host Jeffrey Lloyd, Major said the timing of the purported opinion and the process shocked him. He said when it was given to him, he thought it was a private message from Leader of Government Business in the House, Dr. Bernard Nottage, to him. He added that he was shocked at the process since they're in the middle of dealing with an internal matter that needed to be dealt with, and all of a sudden this document was dropped in his lap. The opinion from the Attorney General's office came after Urban Renewal Commission co-chairs Algernon Allen and Cynthia Mother Pratt refused to appear before the Public Accounts Committee last Thursday. It said the course of action taken by the PAC in summoning the co-chairs was legally improper. Pratt and Allen said they would only appear before the committee if the purported audit on urban renewal completed by the Auditor General is tabled in the House of Assembly. PAC Chairman Hubert Chipman said in the House last week that the committee asked the Auditor General to look into the urban renewal program. According to the near 3,500-word opinion, the PAC or its chairman would be stepping outside of its constitutional and prescribed functions to specifically commission an audit and would be a violation of the independence of the Auditor General's functions. It was not clear who asked for the opinion, but it stated that it was produced at short notice and therefore may be subject to revision based on any additional facts that might be disclosed. Well, the Free National Movement is questioning whether the Attorney General has the ability to make impartial and unbiased decisions when they involve her own cabinet colleagues. Party Chairman Senator Michael Pintard expressed concern that the final decision on the scandal involving Michael MP V. Alfred Gray's alleged interference with a judicial matter on Mayaguana rests with his own colleague with whom he sits around the cabinet table.
There ought to be separation of powers. It is unreasonable to expect that you are going to consistently get the right decision being made when the Attorney General is sitting alongside some of the very persons she may have to investigate or prosecute.
The allegations resulted in a police investigation on Tuesday. Commissioner of Police Ellison Greenslade said he forwarded the findings of that investigation to the Attorney General for her to determine which, if any, charges should be filed. Pintard said this highlights the need for the Department of Public Prosecutions to be separate from the control of the executive.
And with the Attorney General sitting in the cabinet, that separation does not exist. The reality is, even the office of Commissioner of Police, the idea behind giving tenure to a Commissioner of Police is to increase his or her independence from the executive branch. And to date, we are still concerned as to whether or not the Commissioner of Police and his officers have sufficient separation from the control and interference of the Minister with responsibility for national security and the Minister of State for national security.
On Thursday, opposition leader Dr. Hubert Minnis said he believes the Attorney General will take an inordinate amount of time in making the decision on that matter. While that scathing criticism of government by Bahamas CEO Sarkis Merlion last week wasn't so far off base. That's according to CEO of the Bahamas Chamber of Commerce and Employers Confederation Edison Sumner, who told MB12 that the comments were relevant. At a recent conclave of chambers of commerce in the Bahamas at the Malia Resort, Merlion expressed that the discontent and concern surrounding his project were being felt across all sectors of the economy, and that a number of promises important to the future of the Bahamas over the past 12 years have not come to fruition. He added that all should be concerned about the unfulfilled promise of improvement in reliable power supply. While Sumner said this week that even the chamber has highlighted this concern on a number of occasions.
I mean, the topic of energy has been at the top of the list of ease of doing business and some of the concerns expressed by international business community as being one of the major deterrents of doing business in the Bahamas.
Sumner pointed to his recent participation in the CEO Summit of the Americas meeting in Panama earlier this month, during which he spoke with potential investors in the Bahamas who echoed the same concerns as the Bahamas CEO.
All of them had 2 or 3 major concerns, which were raised by Mr. Merlion in his address. One, the cost of energy in the Bahamas is extremely high, and many business persons and companies could not see themselves conducting profitable business in the Bahamas with the cost of energy being as high as it is. So we have to pay attention to the cost of energy. Not only the cost of energy, but the security of energy. When the Bahama project comes on stream, you're talking now about them absorbing a lot of the energy that is already in use. We are not generating any excess capacity, so now we've got to essentially share with this huge resort out there with the rest of us on the island. So that's going to be a challenge, right?
Sumner said government must move quickly with its energy reform policy. The other major concern for investors is the issue of skilled labor in the Bahamas, he said.
The country has a good cadre, we think, of skilled labor people in the country, but there's always the opportunity to improve upon that. When we were talking with the business leaders in Panama, they said to me that some of the issues that they have is that when they have done previously done their scouting in the Bahamas looking for labor in certain areas, skilled labor, that they were hard pressed to find it.
Sumner said another disadvantage that makes the Bahamas less desirable to foreign investors is that many Bahamians are not multilingual. Stay with us when MB12 returns. The success of Junkanoo Carnival on Grand Bahama being lauded by the Minister of Culture, and then later we count down the top quotes of the week.